In this video, we'll chart the GLD GDX spread using the indicators available from professional spread trading. Firstly, what is the GLD GDX spread? GLD is the ticker symbol for the SPDR Gold Trust, which is an investment vehicle that tracks the price of gold bullion. GDX is the market vector's gold miners exchange traded fund. It's essentially a basket of gold mining stocks. When we buy the GLD GDX spread, we're buying gold bullion and selling a basket of gold mining stocks. Conversely, when we sell the spread, we're selling the gold and buying the basket of gold mining stocks. Let's go ahead and chart the spread now. We'll start by opening NinjaTrader 7. The first thing we'll do is connect to our data source, in this case, Kinetic. We're using the paid subscription as opposed to the free end of day service, and we're doing that because we need intraday priced data. Now we'll add a new chart with two instruments we're interested in. First of all, GLD and GDX. We need to configure the type of bars to use for the analysis. So we'll select minute bars and we'll choose a 10-minute interval. We also need to choose the date range. So let's go back to the 1st of January 2009 for both instruments. And the final thing we need to do is set the session template here, which in this case is US equities regular trading hours. And that's for both instruments. Okay. So here we have the price series for GLD and GDX. We can now insert the professional spread trading net change indicator. So I'll just choose that from the list of indicators. Let's look at the main parameters we need to set for this indicator. Symbol 2 can be left blank. That will automatically default to the second instrument on the chart, which in this case is GDX. The other main parameters that we need to worry about relate to the spread bands here. So the indicator will calculate spread bands, or standard deviation bands I should say, around the spread at the intervals we specify. The first parameter relates to the number of bars to use for calculating these the spread standard deviation. So in this case we have 30 bars. We also have a number of parameters relating to an entry band standard deviation, an exit band standard deviation, and a stop band standard deviation. So this will draw lines around our spread that we can use for triggering entry, exit, and stop loss trading signals. Finally, we've got this spread calculation type parameter, and we'll just leave that as return for the time being, and we'll come back to this parameter a little bit later. So I'm going to choose OK to add this indicator. So what the net change spread indicator is showing us is the relative movement, the relative price change between the two instruments since the previous session closing prices. For example, you can see here that this vertical line denotes a new session and that the spread has spiked up at the beginning of this new session. And what this indicates is that the price of the primary instrument up here has gapped up relative to the price of the secondary instrument as compared or based on the previous session closing values of each instrument. We can see here that the spread has jumped up to 0.01, which represents a 1% price differential, or a 1% relative price movement between these two series. In other words, GLD has rallied 1% more than GDX on the open, as measured from the previous session closing price. As the spread rallies, as you can see here, GLD's price is increasing relative to GDX. And as the spread sells off, the converse is true. So as we move back in time, you can see here the spread bouncing around the place. So let's have a look at the display options for this spread. Return, as we've seen, is specifying the return of instrument 1 minus the return of instrument 2, or relative to the return of instrument 2. The spread can also be displayed as a raw price differential, or it can be displayed as a Z-score. What the Z-score shows is the movement of the spread in units of standard deviation. So it's a fully normalized way to view the spread. And you can see that here, the standard deviation bars become horizontal, and the spread is normalized in terms of that standard deviation. So if you haven't done so already, you can download all the indicators shown in this video from our website, professionalspreadtrading.com. Also, the indicators and strategies on our website work with the NinjaTrader platform, and this can be freely downloaded from NinjaTrader.com.